The emergent lie. It is a known fact that highly complex systems acquire purposes of their own. They act in ways their designers did not envision. They become a sort of hydra. Shown here, Zelda has an impossible task. The hydra system has a feedback transfer function where, for every head cut, the hydra grows two more. This is known as a fed-forward feedback loop, totally out of control. We have a good reason to be weary every time a human organization becomes a fed-forward system, such as a hydra, that reproduces itself out of control or acquires self-preservation as its major goal. Such is the case with representative government in a highly complex social environment. I call this the emergent lie because it was not meant to be this way. It is an undesired consequence of its internal structure, of the current rules of the political representation electoral game. The Founding Fathers wanted a Congress by the people, a pretty simple system, apparently. A brief cybernetic analysis shows something else has evolved in its place. In the 60s, and influenced by Norbert Wiener, father of cybernetics, and Talcott Parsons, the sociologist and a cybernetics precursor, Carl Deutsch was the first person to write extensively about applying cybernetics to government. In a book review of The Nerves of Government, written by Deutsch, Marian Iris says this about its content. This book treats more than communication in government or the relevance of communication to government. It holds that government is communication, or at the very least, that government may most profitably be studied as though it were communication. The point of origin is cybernetics, a word which Norbert Wiener coined from the same Greek root as government, meaning to steer, guide, or control. Government, in this case, is a communication net equipped for feedback processes which enable it to appraise its past actions and their effect upon its environment, and to alter its present and future actions so as to achieve programmed goals. David Easton is considered the creator of systemic theory applied to political science. He produced a very simple input-output model. This model is useful if what you want is a very simple explanation. Let's rebuild this model, adding some things that are going on right now. According to the constitutional design of the Founding Fathers, the people elect the Congress and the President. Then Congress passes laws that the executive must comply with and execute. This is the theory. However, elections are not so direct and simple. They pass through the electoral process and the political parties' internal elections. It is bad enough to see that only 50% of the citizens vote in the final election. According to Lester Lessing's very interesting on TED, the heavy and decisive party campaign funders, with 60% of the total contributions, are only about 132 persons in the whole United States. And they get to fund the races even before the primaries. Step 1. So, they also get to influence who reaches the primaries on both parties. Later, they can still influence which of the candidates win. Step 2. Maybe the 50% of abstentionists who could really decide the election are too dumb to understand the rules of democracy, or are so smart that they can tell that just a very few control the outcome. The original system and its theory have been defeated by emergent structures, unplanned or unseen feedback loops. As we can see, the political party system in its primary elections is corrupted in the sense that it has departed from the ideal envisioned by the Founding Fathers. However, this is not all. There are two more feedback loops in the system that produce the Hydra effect. One is a perverse loop going from the members of Congress directly to the funders, possibly in exchange for a say in new legislation, shown here now as an orange downward arrow. As if this was not bad enough, the game winner, however, is the final red loop shown here. The executive creates a huge electoral support base using federal spending to create loyal voters. The problem is that this massive spending is done with borrowed money, not fiscal resources. This gigantic loop has the power to bypass whatever internal balance the electoral system still had, because the spending creates a fed-forward feedback loop with little chance of finding a corrective countermeasure. So, this is how things are right now, and not only in the United States, in other countries as well. What we know is that fed-forward systems such as this are inherently unstable and will sooner or later collapse. By the way, the Hydra story is mythology, but illustrates a point. The rest is 100% real. Thank you for watching. Your comments are welcome.